What's up, everybody? This episode of the podcast is brought to you by WePrint Wraps. WePrint Wraps is the wrap industry's #1 source for wholesale printed wraps. They offer free nationwide shipping all across the U.S. and Canada. Go to WePrintWraps.com today. Okay, folks, welcome to the All Wrapped Up podcast. If you're new to the show, I've been a weekly listener. Thank you for tuning in and supporting the show. As you know, I don't ask for much, but I appreciate it if you left your feedback and a 5-star rating on any platform that you're listening to. It really helps us out in getting the word out about the industry. And don't forget, if you find value in the content, subscribe and tell a friend. And now here's a brand new episode of All Wrapped Up with Shane Lloyd from Gecko Wraps. What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to All Wrapped Up podcast. We'll be interviewing industry-leading wrap companies to share tips, tricks, stories, and more. Shane, what's going on, brother?
What's up, man? What's up?
Not much, bro. Thank you so much for coming on the show, man.
Yeah, dude, man, my pleasure, man. This is it's fun to see what you're doing with the industry, and this is one of those things that's like, everybody is like, wow, this is going on, and our industry is so small, but yet it's getting so big. So it's cool to be part of it.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, dude. This is like an amazing. I've been waiting to have this because I followed you on Instagram and social media, and to finally meet you at WrapsCon, man, it was just a blessing. Like, your aura, and I kept on telling everyone, I'm like, Shane is like on a high all the time. It's crazy. He's just an amazing guy. Like, I didn't want to not talk to you. Like, I know you were running around and walking with Moby and everything. And I'm just like, man, I just want to be around him. He's like such a cool dude, man.
I appreciate that. Thanks, man. It's, I see depressed people all the time and people that are down, and I'm like, you know what? We get to choose we can choose our own fate. We can smile a little bit. You can choose your own happiness. Right. Just why be negative?
Right, man.
Positive.
All day long. It's just crazy. I know, I have my days, whatnot. We all do. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, why hold grudges? Why be negative? It takes more work to be negative than it is just to be positive. And it's just like, when I just could feel the aura when I was near you. Like, I was like, wow, this guy is such a cool dude. It was so much fun. We had a blast. Did you have fun?
Dude, man, it was so much fun, man. The whole thing, with everything from WrapsCon to the parties,
yes.
It's just amazing, dude. Like, it's one of those things that when, Long Beach was such a cool place, it's such a cool venue for everybody to get together. And I know it sucks because it's on the other side of the world for you guys, but
it's worth the trip with the weather, man. I think that's half the battle. It's like, oh, nice weather. I'm going to be in a good mood today.
Right?
Oh my God. Yeah. This weather right now, man, let me tell you, this 20 degrees here and, layers upon layers. I don't think anybody can be in a happy mood in the East Coast right now.
Oh, dude, you guys got to have it bad right now. I mean, right, I'm shitting because it's freaking 60 degrees when I wake up.
Oh, what I would do for 60 degrees. My God.
I went to Salt Lake a couple weeks ago, and I was just like, this is horrible.
Oh, yeah,
like,
right?
What's this white stuff all over the ground?
Oh, my God. But you guys did see snow at one point, I heard.
10 years ago. 10 years ago, yeah. Absolutely.
I won't let that one down. You've seen it. You've seen it. Fuck. I think I forget who it was. It was one of my guests that I just had recently. They had said they went to Vegas once and they never seen snow, and it snowed in Vegas. I was like, what? Snow in Vegas?
Yeah.
That's random.
Yeah, random, dude. I just got a thing that popped up in my feed. It was like 10 years ago you had snow.
Wow. Unbelievable. I'm sure the city would just shut down with something like that.
It's the dumbest thing you've ever seen, man. It's like three inches of snow here in Vegas, and everybody just turns into retards, man. It's like school shut down, like People are wondering what's happening. There's about a million accidents on the road. Nobody can drive in the snow. It's like, Jesus, you guys are like, I grew up in Alaska and Salt Lake City, so I'm like, hey.
This ain't foreign to me. You're good. Right? Especially with that big ass truck you got, picking up all the neighborhood people.
Dude, it flings children out the tires. That's how I drive by a school bus and I see all of them do the horn signal, so I blast them all and about knock them all over.
That's awesome. So you got
literally
like the air horns on that thing?
Yeah.
Oh,
literally
my
this
God.
morning, I'm driving into the office and a kid stops to look at my truck as I'm driving by, and he fell on his face as I drove by. And I was like, 10 points, 10 points.
That's awesome. I just watch people walking the poles because they can't get their eyes off the car. Oh my!
It was
God.
the funniest thing. He literally looked at the truck and was like, not paying attention, and just boop, right into the road. I was like, oh.
You should have a big sticker going on the side.
Dude, I had one guy hit my truck. He ran into the side of it, hit my tire.
That's the only thing he could hit. That thing's so jacked.
Yeah, dude, he literally, like, I felt the little bump, and I'm like, what? And I look at the side view mirror, and this Mercedes pulls up and just bounced off the tire. I pull over, and I'm like, he's like, I'm so sorry I ran into you. I'm like, how do you not see me?
Yeah. Oh my God, I can imagine a cop writing up the report like, dumbass. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
he's like, I just got out of the shop too. I'm like, well, you probably shouldn't be driving.
Yeah. Geez, if you're hitting the biggest thing on the road right now, you got to pull that license, sir. Excuse me. But that's crazy, dude. I mean, that thing is just an eye catcher. Like, so how high, so I'm going to ask you, how high is that thing?
So that was our SEMA build, and that thing was like, just kind of came out of blue. It was just one day I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a SEMA build. So
just wake up in the morning.
We bought a brand new truck, and, went out and bought the newest Duramax I could get.
Wow.
And, I had relationships with aftermarket auto parts, and we're kind of in that world, so
right.
It was kind of easy for me to get a lot of my contracts, and I got a lot of, we signed up for some wholesale accounts, and we got into like selling a lot of aftermarket auto parts and stuff. And really it was just to build the truck.
Wow.
So we got with Cognito, who, Cognito was one of our sponsors. And, we got the 12-inch lift, and I cranked that bad boy up to like 14.
Jesus.
Yeah. So, but yeah, man, we had like $45,000 worth of product on that thing.
Wow.
Yeah, it was nuts. Like, that build was insane. It was just, and every time because we created a rendering of it, of what we wanted it to look like.
Right.
And we put product on it, and we would shoot it off to the marketing directors of those companies. And I would take it to an industry. And if it was a bumper manufacturer, I'd send it to 5, just because I was trying to, get multiple people to say yes. And there were times where I'd get one guy and then I wouldn't hear from the yes. And then there were others I'd get like 2 or 3 and I'd have to choose. And I'm like, oh shit, I don't want to piss anybody off.
Yeah. Yeah. Better to have options than no options.
Right. So man, it was funny, man. We were getting products left and right. And, that truck, it's kind of scary when you buy an $80,000 truck and then you tear it apart.
Yeah, I would say.
I'm like, well, there goes the warranty. So we tore it apart, and we didn't just tear it apart once. We tore it apart twice, because we put the lift all on. We powder coated some stuff. We put it up and we checked it out, and we're like, all right, let's do it again. So we tore it all down again and powder coated more stuff and wrapped a bunch of stuff to match the powder coating. It was intense.
Wow.
Yeah.
So from where it stands now to your roof racks, how tall does this thing sit now?
Well, I can't go to a McDonald's parking drive-through anymore. So.
Oh, well, did you find that out the hard way?
Yeah, well, I'm a little smarter than that, but like I cruise along the side and I got to get out to make my orders now.
Oh,
so,
man.
Yeah, I think it sits about, I think we measured it, and it's about 11 feet.
Wow.
To the top. Yeah, now, it's pretty tall.
Now, do they have, like, in Nevada, Well, Las Vegas, do they have like a height like limit? Do they give you shit because it's so high?
You know what? I haven't gotten one ticket for that truck any way, shape, or form. It's just like people just stop. Like the cops will rock around it and just like admire it. Like, you know, I can't park it anywhere without 1,000 people. You know, it's like you know, if the Japanese were there, it becomes like a Fuji photo center.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love that.
So yeah, it's like the Instagram feed of Instagram feeds, but yeah, it's cool. That truck was a good 6 months of build time and, you know, putting it all back together. And man, that, you know, we tore that thing apart to wrap it. You know, we basically wrapped it enough to do it 6 times.
Jesus.
Because, you know, you got to take the doors off and then you got to jam it and then you got to do the insides of the doors and you got to do the outsides of the doors.
Right.
You know,
Lots of work.
Yeah, it was a lot of work. Yeah.
And you were hands on throughout the whole process with all the parts and everything, huh?
Yep. My day-to-day operations were just kind of going with my staff and my team, and I partnered up with one of our build partners with Super Duty Shop. So I became like a pseudo employee over there, and just, you know, we bring the truck over there, and I'd work out of that office all the time, and it was just working on the truck daily.
That's amazing. And now, how far back does it go when you brought this to SEMA? A couple of years?
Yeah. So it was what was it, 18? So it was 2018. So it was not the last SEMA we had, the one before.
The one before, right? Wow.
Yeah.
So the thing's just a year old now.
Yeah. It was just a year old. And we did some SEMA participation this year where one of our bumper manufacturers and one of our bumper sponsors, you know, we did photo shoots. So they were passing out photos of the truck during SEMA, and you know, I didn't even see them, but there were a lot of rappers that would come up to me and be like, "I got a poster of your truck." I'm like, "Oh, right on it." I didn't get one.
Hey, you got to keep the truck though.
Right? I'm like, son of shit.
Oh man, that's so funny. So do you travel a lot with the truck now with all the parts and everybody that helped you out in making this big build? Do you like bring it out to a lot of shows to help promote their product?
You know, it's usually just Vegas stuff, you know, like I haven't really taken it out too much places because we were obligated only for the first little bit, and, you know, we were obligated for SEMA. So basically we put together this billboard, which is the truck, and, you know, all these products just got to put their logo on it and their product. So for us, it was, you know, we obligated us to a few different shows locally, and that was pretty much it. So, but you're going to be seeing the truck floating around here pretty soon. We're going to be doing some stuff next year. There's some talk about it going to WrapsCon and redoing the whole wrap. And, you know, it actually will probably be back at SEMA next year as we're doing a bunch of different stuff to it and getting some more sponsors, changing some things around on it. So it'll be the same truck, but it'll be different products to be on it. So
yeah, I love that. Now, what's the name of the camo that's on there? It's
that's a Cryptek camo.
Cryptek camo. Now they're like a they're very, how would I put it? They're very cautious on who has that Cryptek pattern. Is it legit a Cryptek pattern, or is it just?
We were actually part of their booth.
Wow.
At SEMA, so we were a featured vehicle for the Cryptek, which is CMYK Graphics. Mark Austin out of in Idaho. He actually has the license for that. So, you know, it's a really big deal to have that license, and to, you know, to put it on a couple vehicles and stuff is really a lot. So we got the files, and we were really trying, you know, or we got the prints, and we got, you know, did a lot of stuff where we had to do a lot of color matching, and we had to send it off, and it was a back and forth trying to get it just exactly the way we saw it. But it had to portray the Cryptek pattern and the CMYK graphics, just because that was part of their booth.
Right. How many hours did you have in wrapping the thing?
Oh, goose. I mean, it didn't seem like a lot, but it did.
Yeah.
Because it was like nonstop. We had it in my shop for like 2 weeks just because SEMA was happening, and we had just gotten all the little nitpicky stuff done for the truck, and it got down to the wire. We were still getting parts right up until SEMA actually showed up. So we had to
Wow.
get it back to my shop for 2 weeks, and we just fully went through, dismantled it. And it was like, we had to do kind of all hands on deck. I got in, a couple of my buddies came in, and we knocked it out. We banged it out really good. We had a lot of participation that came in. People from all over came and helped out because it was such a big thing for us to be part of it.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. That truck, I still seeing photos even from this last SEMA with everyone like hanging off the truck. I mean, you must have had like 20 people on that thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. It was funny. We had so many people on it. We cased the suspension all the way down.
Oh my God. And also too, with the SEMA thing, you opened up your doors as well to a lot of the wrap industry people to come in this year at your place.
Yeah. So during WrapsCon, and before I'd been kind of thinking about like, how can we offer this? 'Cause, and I have that RV business now, and
Right.
I was like, what could I really do? Because, the one thing that, and I'm local, so I'm kind of spoiled a little bit when it comes to SEMA. I don't have to travel anywhere. I don't have to, but I know that grind. I know what it's like to have to go somewhere, fly somewhere, have a hotel room, and then, you don't ever feel like you get to relax. You don't
Right.
ever, it's just like a constant grind. Then you got to be up in the morning to go to work. So I was like, I'd want to really like put something together where we could have, I have a big place and got a nice spot. And I'm like, the industry has given so much to me that I'm like, you know what, let's give back a little bit and let people like relax and do a little pre-party. And so Don Nava from, iBow, we got together and we said, hey, let's really like throw something together. So we put together this little plan and, really we pulled 3 RVs out of our fleet and had a bunch of people in the RVs, and we, I have, 6 bedrooms in the house. So I was like, we'll put couples in all the bedrooms, and we did it, man. We had like 30 people over here. It was pretty awesome.
That's amazing, man. And I wasn't able to attend, but I know everyone that I spoke to, appreciated that and said they had such a great time at your place, that the hospitality was unbelievable. They had an amazing time, and, to do that for the industry and to give back, man, that was amazing. Thank you, even though I wasn't there. Thank you for doing that, because it is tough, and to have someone come out and know the struggles of picking up and going out for a week and that grind.
Yeah.
It's great that you opened up your doors and let a few of us in.
It was really fun, man. Like we had the night we did the pre-party the night, we probably had over 100 people that walked in. Wow. For the pre-party alone. And, we had Dallas Fowler on the 1-2s in the grotto. Dan was down there throwing it down, and it was so cool. We had the lights. I mean, I spent a small fortune on getting the backyard just perfect for everybody. It was just awesome. It's like, we had a little taco lady come out and set up and did, tacos for everybody. And it was such a cool, man. We had every vendor. That was the kind of, it was cool because like I sit back and I think about it and I'm like, man, the support for that was so great. We had everybody there. Arlon sent us a bunch of stuff. Muto was like, they threw us a bunch of gear. They were there. We had 3M. We had, Avery, Oracal was there. I mean, it was so crazy. Like Yellow Tools threw us a bunch of stuff. We had people just, giving product away so we could give it away during the party. Blade Cage gave us a bunch of gear. It was amazing. Like we didn't realize how much people would actually contribute for this little party, and everybody had a blast, man. We ended up giving away, several $1,000s worth of media.
Wow.
We got, some color change film got tossed out there, Fellers kicked in some gear. So, I mean, it was really cool, man. It was really neat.
That's amazing. And how often can you have all the vendors that you buy this amazing product for our industry for, at your house you know what I mean? It's like, hey, yeah, you remember that time you were at my house? It's like,
yeah, man, it was cool because now I got dirt on a lot of.
yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Everybody was videoed during that party.
Like, hey,
so
remember when you got that tequila shot? Got a little crazy.
Did
No,
Dan,
it was fun.
Did Dan ever put on that Speedo? I heard there's some rumor thing going around with him putting on a Speedo or something. Did that end up happening?
Like he didn't. It was one of those things. We tried to convince him, but I think Dan caught on really fast.
Yeah, he didn't have enough drinks in him. That's all it was.
Yeah. Well, we'll get there though. Next year.
Next year, yeah, definitely. As long as Dan doesn't listen to this episode, we'll be all right.
I love you, Dan. Love you.
Oh man, unreal.
No, man, it was funny, man. Like, Dallas and, Joe Solis was there and Solis was there. And man, it was so cool, man. We just had such a blast. Everybody was like family.
Right.
And it was, every night, like there were a couple times where it was like, we were going to go to the Wraps VIP party. And I wish I would have went, but at the same time, like there was like a traffic delay and I didn't want to spend 45 minutes in traffic each way.
Yeah.
So it was like, so there was like 10 of us that were just like, what do you want to do? And I'm looking at the hot tub going, well, that looks really comfortable. And everyone's like, agreed.
Yeah.
so we were all just hanging out in the hot tub. I had the pool heated to 80 degrees for the whole weekend. So everybody was dipping in the pool, hanging out. So it was tight.
Wow, man. That's just amazing.
Yeah. We've already got people wanting to reserve rooms
for next year.
So yeah. So if you guys are interested, we're having the Wraps VIP Airbnb going on again next year for SEMA. So just let me know.
That's awesome. Your neighbors must love you.
You know what? This neighborhood is one of those neighborhoods where everybody throws a party. Like,
really?
I'm the quiet guy. I throw one once in a while, but it's like we all throw our party once in a while. There's just a little bit of ruckus, and it's just like you just kind of suck it up, and the next guy goes, "All right, well, I'm going to do one next."
Yeah.
So it's kind of accepted. I didn't really get any shit really.
Good. That's awesome. They're definitely going to be pissed when you got 20 RVs parked out front with everybody, RSVPing to be at your place.
I did get a fine for the RV. I did get one fine.
Come on. Really?
They got me with one fine. Yep.
Oh,
yeah, they're like,
man.
You had an RV parked in front of your house. It's $100. I'm like, you know what? Fuck, that's cool.
It's worth it. It was worth it. $100 for one day.
I'll prepay next year.
There you go. Give a little donation. Here you go, officers. Just remember, just look the other way when you drive by my house.
Right. Yeah, it was pretty funny. But yeah, no, man, this year was one of those, it was a great turnout. And, we were really looking forward to doing it again because, we all see each other at the shows and we all get the chance to hang out for a little bit. And, sometimes we get to go to parties and stuff, but it was such a different vibe, man. Everybody was really chill and, music was playing, food was great. We were all hanging out, and it was just like everyone, 30 people had places that were staying here. So it was just like they were just staying kind of home. So we had a really good thing going on and everybody really enjoyed it. So we're looking forward to doing it again.
Do you see now in SEMA, how many times have you gone to SEMA, by the way?
Well, let's see. I've been in Vegas for 15 years and it seems like every year I've got something going on there. There's some years where I try to go and I just, I'm not paying for a ticket because, I'm usually working here. So
right.
I get sucked in and sucked out. But yeah, man, I've been at the show off and on for 15 years.
Wow. Now, from, the conception of you going there 15 years ago up until now, how do you see the rap industry kind of building up every year at the show?
Oh, man, it's been insane. So in 2008, this was like one of my experiences with, I was working at SEMA in a booth with Troy from Ape Wraps in the Rap Club. Mm-hmm. And he's like, hey, I got this cool little thing. You should check it out. And he pulls out this glove and it's got an ape on it. And I'm like, oh, this is cool. So, and back then we had like, man, raps were like frowned upon, I mean, it was like 80% paint, 20% wrapped. And, that year was like a year that they were trying to push the printers and, the material and show how we could do it and how wraps went. We were wrapped a Motorola Ferrari challenge car. And I remember it was funny because I've been doing this for several years, but, this is the first time I'd really worked with Troy. So Troy's like, let me see your knives. So we're all like, all right, we know them. We know he didn't trust, so we had to earn that respect as we got along. But eventually he was like, you guys are good. You guys are good.
That's awesome.
But, yeah, from that point, it was just like you walk around and it was just like paint was everywhere and wraps were few and far between. But now it's definitely flipped, man. I mean, you rarely see anything that's painted and everything is wrapped.
Right.
So I think our industry has definitely been really impacted by that big change because now it's, back then people didn't have that quality. They didn't know how to really finesse a wrap. They were still cutting around door handles instead of taking them off. So now we created our own standard. We started really creating that. Hey, look, we can do this just as good, and, I think, this every year SEMA just progressively, it's just wraps are just huge and they're just going to be like that. I mean, you can just accomplish so much more.
Oh yeah, definitely. I love when they incorporate the wraps to like the old antique cars or the the old muscle cars when, you would think that type of era or that person building, they wouldn't be apt to get it wrapped. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah. I've got a 64 Lincoln Continental out here that's just, we're rebuilding and that one's going to be, next up on the platter.
Wow. That's a long car, ain't it?
Yeah. It's a pretty big beast, man.
Jeez.
It's, suicide doors,
right.
It's going to be a pretty intense thing, but those ones are the classic ones that they were always black. So coming up with a design for it's been a little challenging because even me as a rapper, I'm like, gosh, that's just usually a black car. Like,
yeah, there's no satisfaction in that. None.
I know. Like, now I've got to find something that makes it look cool, but yet keep style. I'm like, oh man, this is now I feel like I got to challenge myself on this one.
Yeah, man. I feel like, seeing Kevin's Impala that he did, like,
oh yeah,
it's still such, it was many years ago, but like it's still such a huge staple of like when you put a wrap on an Impala now, or when you put a wrap on an older antique car, it's like, is it like Kevin's? You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, fucking Kevin really holds
Kevin
that.
set the bar high.
Yeah, she did. You know what I mean? And it's hard to touch it. You know what I mean? When it's a white man can't jump. You can just touch. You can just barely touch the rim. Just
yeah. Everybody's here. We're all looking at P.D. Nola going, how do we compete?
Yeah, it's like, damn it, Kevin, damn you. Oh.
He's got that Nolan's flavor going on.
Yeah, he does. Man, I don't know what type of water they're drinking over there, but shit. Fuck, it's crazy. It's unreal the type of work he puts out too, man. It's just phenomenal to have a staple like that to like, when you look at your jobs and you're looking at the, the work and what you got to design up, you just, I know I look at it and I'm just like, what would Kevin do? You know what I mean?
Right. We're in a lab, man. Like, that's the way I look at it. We're all like in this color lab of trying to figure things out. And I'm always trying to do the same thing, trying to figure out new ways to do something. So when Chrome came out, I was like, I'm going to figure out how to print on this. And, I started, and I came from a lowrider background in that era of, classic cars and stuff. And so like I knew Candy paint and, Candy auto body and, House of Colors and things like that. So I was like, there was always a way that I was like, how can I incorporate that type of look and feel and create that? And I know Kevin probably does the same thing, but when you remember those kind of paint and you remember that auto body side of things, it really does challenge you because I was, printing on metallic films before anybody even knew you could, because I was going for that candy effect.
That's just amazing. Looking outside the box. That's continuously day in and day out. How can you look outside the box in this next job or next project? It's just amazing the types of things. Whoever thought, even Avery, thinking, oh, maybe someone might want to, stick this thing through a printer one day.
Right. Well, it was funny. So like our SEMA truck, our SEMA build, really was predicated on, matching this powder coating system. So we took a powder coating that I knew was going to be like a bright, vibrant, they call it that shock yellow, that neon green, that really bright green.
Yeah.
And I was like, how do we really match this? How can I really do this? So I was losing sleep over this. It was I was printing on chrome. I was laminating with every finish you can imagine, just trying to see if I could get it. Couldn't hit it. I printed on metallic, couldn't get it. And I was just racking my brain. And I'm like, I gotta do this. This is gonna be a SEMA truck. I've gotta hit it. And so one night I'm sleeping and I have this freaking dream. And it's like, print on the Avery green pearl and you're gonna nail it. I'm like, no way. I woke up in the morning. It's Saturday. I never work on Saturday. And I'm like, I look at my wife and I go, I'll be back. I gotta go to the office. And I run to the office and I break out this green Avery pearl that I had in the shop. And I'm like, all right, so I have a powder coated part. And I'm like, all right, let me just see about this. So I print a Pantone chart on one of my Mutos, and I lay the Pantone chart on it. I get the inks to settle just right. And that took me a little bit, but I figured it out, and I laid it all out, and I look at the Pantone chart. And I'm like, all right, this is the Pantone color that matches closely. So then in Flexi, I went through color management stuff, and I mapped the color.
Right.
And I printed like an 8%. And every color that was close within 8%. And then I took the part and I narrowed it down, and I got it down to like a 3%.
Wow. And
then I printed the thing and I took the part and I put it on top of it, and I was like, yeah, damn, man. I don't know how I came up with it, but it worked. And it was like a bright yellow that I printed on this green, which made this effect. So on the screen, my trucks looks purple and yellow. It doesn't even look like it's color because it's using a white base. So we actually had to go through and pick these colors to get this silverish color and get this yellow color and get this green color. And so when you look at my truck, when you walk around my truck, it actually color shifts from a print, which has never been done before.
No.
So one angle you're looking and you see that bright yellow, but then when you walk at an angle, you see the base color underneath and it turns this darker green, and you're like, whoa. So my truck, in a sense, was like the first color shifting color print because we used a color base. So, and that was just phenomenal. So I actually have a little video that I posted on our page, and it showed the process of what I went through to get this powder coating and nail this powder coating. And it was funny because randomly, right after we did it, we printed this Pantone chart. And so I keep the Pantone charts for unique colors.
Yeah.
And I had another guy walk into the shop, and he was another SEMA truck, and he goes, I need to match this maroon. And I'm like looking at this maroon powder coating, and I'm like, hold on a second. So I pull out my green and I look at it, and I noticed that I was hitting these beautiful, deep maroons by printing on a green base.
Wow. Dude. What?
Yeah.
It's like, it's exactly what they taught you in school. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You mix the colors and you get the color you want.
Right.
It's crazy. But you would never think like the film needs to be that first color. And then as you print, you have to pick the color that you need in order to hit that. Like,
yeah. So now in my shop, we actually have 3-ring binders. And what we do is if a unique color comes out, I'll print a Pantone chart on it. So I have a baseline. So I have my Pantones. I know what those are.
Right.
On white. And then I'll print these Pantone charts on everything from silver metallic, chrome, diamond to greens to Bahama blue pearl. And what I do is I take that Pantone chart and I look at it and I have little 1-inch squares, just like if you remember back in the day when you would go to a auto paint shop, they'd have these little 1-inch squares that you could pick your color.
Right.
So I do that on different bases, and people look at those bases and they're like, oh man, because you would be surprised. Like, you can hit the most beautiful colors and get an effect that nobody is going to be able to create by just printing on these other types. Now, it takes a lot of science behind how to lay that ink on the media and how to get that ink to set.
I can imagine.
But once you figure that out, man, it's amazing that you can achieve our world. Our wrap world has been changed, because before it was like, oh, I'm going to buy just this color. Right. Now I look at a color that's all that I can buy, and I go, I can achieve that same color or better by printing it on something that's over here. Like half of these metallic colors I can probably reproduce by printing on a metallic. But yeah, so there's so many different options.
Yeah, dude. It's like you can't even look at a white canvas anymore. It doesn't have to be white to start. Basically, you're starting off with whatever you got going on. You got
Yep.
purple, stick that purple in there. Let me show you a couple colors. You know what I mean? I could whip up. That's amazing. I would
Yeah.
have never, like, I've seen it done, and then they laminate over it. Now,
Yep.
with something like that, you're printing this all through Muto. Like, that's what you have?
Yep. I've had HPs and I had Mutos, but my HPs, I just had a lot of problems with my HPs, so I never could really get that ink to lay. But I have really good success on printing on those Mutos.
Is like Muto like your main, like that's your thing? I
You
know
know,
people are rolling or even HPs. Are you the Muto guy?
I stand by Muto pretty good. I mean, we have a really good relationship. Back when I first started this game, I bought a 1604, and it was like our first printer that and it became the wrap printer.
Yeah.
And man, we tailored that thing in, and I've had 7 or 8 of these printers over the course of the last years. And, we've had a lot of success. I've had other printer companies come to me and say, hey, we want you to try our printer. Then they'll put one in our shop and we'll run it. And, if it doesn't deliver, then we tell them.
Right.
It's hard to change your mind when you've had such a good success. And plus, we have a really good relationship with Muto, and Muto is, they've been a strategic partner of ours. So yeah, we love Muto.
That's amazing. Yeah, to partner up with a manufacturer like that in the print world, I mean, that's a great thing, man. It's not a lot of us can do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I've been in this industry for so long that it's just been one of those things for, like a lot of the Muto advertisements that are out in the magazines. If you open up your Wraps magazine right now, there's 4 advertisements in there, and they're pictures of stuff. There are wraps that we printed on their machines. Yeah, so I was actually just looking at that last wrap magazine that came out, and I was good. Oh, there's 1, there's 2, there's like 5 pages of vehicles that we've wrapped that are being displayed on there. And it's all stuff that we've done.
That's amazing.
So we've got a really good relationship with those guys. We just got a new one. They just dropped it off, and we just installed it like not even a month ago.
Wow. Is it a new one already in production or one that you're testing?
Yeah, no, it's a new 1638 dual head.
Wow.
Yeah, so it goes right in our little fleet of printers over there. So
now
we got that. And
how many printers total do you have now?
We're running four of them right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I just saw about an hour and a half ago, you just got delivery of a new laminator.
Yeah, man, we did. We just got a new e-sign laminator. They're a Chinese brand, but we've originally bought one of these DingTech e-sign laminators years ago. Man, it's heavy duty. This thing it's balls to the wall, 20 meters a minute. It's heat assist, goes up to 140 degrees, tracks beautifully.
Wow.
It's got these hand crank pressure rollers on it. I mean, it's just amazing.
Easy to use.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's simple use. It's got some buttons on it, but you can adjust your pressure on the fly.
Wow.
So you can increase your pressure. You can drop it down. It's got all the calibration stuff. It's got trimmers on the backside, so you can, you get your trim. If you need to trim it up, you can put a knife on it and it'll trim it before it even gets a take-up roll.
Really?
Yeah.
What? You can't get that off of Royal Sovereign.
That's what it just replaced.
Oh, really? Royals?
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong; those things are workhorses, but man, when they get like funky on you, it takes forever to get that thing adjusted again.
Yeah, dude, mine's become like a work hazard, like exposed chain and sprocket just sitting there laying because I've taken the side covers off.
Yeah,
the plastics are all beat up. I think I got wrap, like vinyl wrap, holding it together.
Oh my God!
It's been a workhorse for the last 5 years on me, and I'm like, all right, it's time to move on. But yeah, we're excited to get this new one into play.
That's amazing. Now, where can you find this model? Which distributor around here is selling it, or do you have to order it overseas?
So we ordered it from DingTech has an operation here. eSigns.com has an operation and I think they're out of Dallas, but they actually import. So we actually, go to ISA, SGIA, WrapsCon, the MBM shows. They usually have like a booth set up there.
Yeah.
And I've kind of worked with these guys over the course of the last years, but I ordered from eSign, just with Eric Wang over there, and he, they put it on a barge, got it shipped over. It just landed I think it just landed like at the beginning of the week, and they shipped it from the port to us, and we just took possession of it today. So we're super excited to get that thing up and running.
That's amazing, man. Yeah, there's nothing like having a new laminator. I mean, a lot of people on the show that I've listened, I've gone through rants about laminators and
dude, I ordered one from Florida this one time, and they sent it out, and this thing, it was a Chinese brand too, but when they sent it out, this thing was just the bearings were plastic.
What?
Like, yeah, it was horrible, man. I got to put a roll on it, and it just skipped the whole time. And I was like, "Oh, you got to be kidding me!" So I called the guy up, and I was like, "You're taking this thing back." So I paid to ship it back. That's how bad it was. I was like, I'm paying to ship it back. But this one is everything is like super solid. It's got, the tensioners are all metal, the sprockets. It's really put together really well on this machine. So I'm just kind of crossing my fingers, and, it's going to be a great little add-on. And with heat assist, that's even huge. I mean, it gets up to 140 degrees. So,
right.
How some people get that silvering effect from laminators.
Yes.
I won't have to worry about that now. Towards the end of the life of my Royal Sovereign, I was getting that silvering, just like the pressure just wasn't enough. And, that heat assist will just pull that right out. Yeah.
It's a funky thing when you're looking at new laminators, whether to go cold or whether to go heat assist, because you've got to kind of play with the temperature, the temperature of the room, what is it at, the media, and, how quick you kind of put it through, or there's a lot of science that goes into before you stick that thing through the laminator. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I've had horror stories on laminators. I've had laminators that uncalibrated that walk all over the place. And, it's just like, oh man.
They're out there.
So, yeah.
It's crazy. It's just, it's the last thing that you do prior to putting it on. And it's like you spend the whole time printing the things, and some of us have to outgas, some of us don't. And, to have that mess up.
I've created, my kids, I have young kids, and about 3 years ago, my kids were probably like 5 or 6, and those little Discovery tents they sell for like $20? They have like a little tunnel. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
So I stole their tunnels.
Really?
Off their tents, and I took them in, and then I mounted fans to them and put them in and so I used them as outgassing chambers, and I swear it works. It works every time. So I'll print something real quick. I'll throw it in this tube. We mounted the fan up right to it. So, and it's got these little magnets that hook up to it.
Wow.
And so the tube drops down, and it forces air right over it, and we outgas really quick. So that, a lot of people are like, "Oh, well, I've got a printer and I don't have to worry about outgassing." I'm like, well, I don't really either.
Yeah.
Because we figured it out.
Found a way around it. I mean, I love that they've created, these little chambers to put your film in and to outgas for a few hours or for the day to just help move around all those chemicals. Cause I mean, we work with HPs at work, and it's like literally laminate right away, and it's okay. And it's okay. I mean, we really haven't had issues with it, but oh man, with some other printers, and you can. Oh yeah, it's like a wet noodle coming off the thing. It's as soon as you take the backer off, it's soaked, and you can smell the solvents in it. It's just like, this is
turns into a gummy mess.
God forbid it touches itself, the adhesive. Good luck. Good luck, man.
Yep. It was funny when I came to work one day, and my daughters were walking behind me, and they look up and they're like, "That's where our tubes went."
Oh, you didn't replace them?
No, they never used it anyway.
They never do. Damn kids. You buy
they
them.
Play with the boxes, man.
Yeah. The box that it came in, they'll have more fun with that than the actual product that it was in the
Yeah,
box.
dude. Like,
It's
my kids are crazy, man. Like my kids, man, I'm buying presents and stuff. And next thing I know, I turn around and I'm like, you guys ain't even playing with this.
right.
Like I buy vacations for them now because that's a memory. I can't. That's something that they can use.
That's a great thing, man. I love that because it's all about building the memory. They'll remember that forever, dude. Like,
Oh yeah, yeah. They talk about getting a letter from Santa that said, "Hey, you guys got a Disney vacation." That's the stuff that they remember. Then
yeah.
like they don't remember the damn robot that they wanted that they played with once.
Right. Yeah, it got shoved in the toy box for many, many years. It's it's crazy. It's nice when they're like from, probably from like 1 to like 5 is like a good age. After 5, it's like the toy thing kind of dies down. I mean, my 2 daughters, one's 12 and one's going to be 7 here Friday. It's like going out and buying them toys for Christmas. It's like, I sit down like, okay, how much use is she going to get out of this? That's
right?
that's where I'm at with it. It's like, should I buy it? Should I not buy it?
I'm on the phone with you on the interview, and I literally just sent my wife out to the store to go finish up Christmas shopping because I didn't want to go. I was like, I can't do this.
This was your out.
You totally gave me an out, dude. Thanks.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome, dude. You're welcome. It won't get me out of Christmas shopping tomorrow, but fuck, it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm taking we're going to Six Flags. We're doing the whole thing this weekend. It's going to be great.
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah. Probably hit up a couple shops out there just to go say hi.
Nice.
So
I love that, dude. Well, let's switch gears a little bit. We're about an hour in already, which is great, dude. I love this. I love talking to people, man. I just have so much fun and just, even if it's not rap related, just talking about events and shit like that. It's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I want to talk about your backstory and how you created, Gecko Wraps and came up with your brand and where this all sparked from.
Well, man. So, all right. Well, let's talk. I was in the military, right out of high school, shipped off, and I was in military intelligence and stationed overseas.
Wow.
Did a tour over there, and the whole time I'm in the military, it was kind of like I couldn't wait to get out and start a business. It was like, whoa, I want to do something, because half the time you're in the military, you just hurry up and wait for something to happen that, can or can't happen or sometimes does. And we were right in the middle of the Kosovo, Albania stuff. So it was pretty intense little time for us to be in. But, while I was in, it was just like, all right, I had a lot of things that I did that, I was into cars and I was into parties and into all this different stuff. And so it was like, how can I apply this? And being in military intelligence, I think kind of spoke about this before with you. It was really like business 101 school in a sense. You kind of take out that little bit of, the enemy situation and you place that with some business stuff. And it was kind of like, all right, cool. So I developed a really good skill, finding my avenue of approach,
right,
area of opportunities, and then figuring out how to execute and make plans and really get through and really accomplish something. So when I got out of the military, I came back and I was like, all right, I'm going to start a business. I had no idea what I was going to start, but I did what most of us did. We all got into the rave scene back in the
day. That's awesome.
So I had a company called Chaotic Entertainment and we threw raves and parties. And, this was pre 9/11. And, then when 9/11 happened, it was like, oh crap. And, I started getting calls from all sorts of directions because I was still kind of active at the time, military. And so I had to kind of, I didn't go back in and do a bunch of stuff, but what I kind of had to pull out because I didn't know whether I was going to get that call.
Right.
And, so, when it came down to this rap thing, it was really kind of an interesting situation. I was in Vegas and, we were at an expo and I saw this guy and he had this new thing on his car and it was like, hey, this is a rap. And it was this guy, nobody knew what wraps were. So this guy, like, he'd won a bunch of car shows and stuff, was best paint, but nobody knew what a wrap was. And so I was like, this is going to be the next big thing, you know? So we, you know, we took some of our flow and some of our cash that we'd had, and we were like, you know, let's buy some stuff and let's really start looking at this as an opportunity. And, so we sat around and we're like, what do we want to call this? And, everything, I knew that wraps were going to be big, but nobody knew that wraps were wraps. I mean, I started this when everybody thought a wrap was a damn sandwich. So that was really that was a hard one to get over. So we had to call ourselves Gecko Signs and Graphics for years before we actually were able to spin off and just focus purely on Gecko Wraps.
Right.
And, we took a lot of time to kind of process how we were going to build the brand. And we were in a unique situation because Vegas was, we're the height of advertising here. We had more cars here that were going to be wrapped for everything from shows to, business. So the per capita rate for advertising wraps was crazy, going to be huge.
Yeah.
And we knew that.
Right.
So we started small, and we wrapped bunch of cars for friends, and we had a couple other businesses that we were involved with that we were partners in, and we actually wrapped our fleet at the time we had I was partners with a buddy that had like a lighting company for holidays, and we wrapped our vehicles in Gecko Wraps. So we were out there getting exposure, and it was a slow build up, and eventually, we became a dominant member in Vegas, and it's been gravy ever since. And now, we've developed such a good brand recognition that, a lot of people, they don't even call it a wrap in Vegas. A lot of times they'll say, I want to go get a Gecko wrap.
Really?
Yeah. So that was kind of a cool little thing, but it was a side note. But yeah, we're into all sorts of stuff now. Like, we just got a hydrographics dipping station, so we can do hydro dipping. We've got a powder coating oven now, so we're going to be able to do powder coating. We've got a spectrochrome system, so now we're going to be able to actually do spray chrome on everything, and it's just not wrap chrome. So we're kind of going into this all-out market of different finishes, along with our Dynoc and architectural finishes that we're already doing for a lot of the casinos and stuff.
That's amazing. That's got to be a huge market for the Dynoc side of
things.
Well,
it's huge, man. So when we first started this, it was like, I didn't want people just to think that we were just cars. So our slogan at the time is, we'll wrap anything.
Right.
And we really focused on just doing everything. I mean, we wrapped 2,000 slot machines for MGM Grand, and, basically made it look better than the real laminate that they had. And, now we've done that for a few different casinos. So, we've done everything from, cash wraps to stores to remodels. We do a lot of interior remodels, and that's kind of like where we like to see a lot of this wrap is moving towards, is interior finishes and architectural design. We work with designers and architectural firms. We go in and we sit down and we say, here, check out this. And, they go, oh, can you do a wood grain like this? And it's like, yes, we can.
Yeah. Which one do you want?
Yeah. We've done some really unique, cool projects for, let's see here. What's that? There's a steakhouse, Morton Steakhouse.
Okay.
So Morton Steakhouse, which is, they're a huge steakhouse. They have one in the Hard Rock Casino. So they came to us and they did everything. They did hardwood flooring everywhere. So there's wood everywhere. Yeah. They even put it on the ceiling.
Jesus.
Yeah. So but they forgot one small detail, that they left all of their HVAC and AC components on the ceiling were bright white. So it stuck out like a sore thumb. So we actually had to take their wood grain, scan in a hardwood sample, and color match to match not just the wood grain, but the lighting inside the restaurant, because, you can't color match unless you have light. You have to know that, because, you have your object, your viewer, and the light source that can all change the color. So when you look at it in the sun, it doesn't look like it matches, but you walk in, you put it next to the 3,000 Kelvin LED bulb, you can't even tell the difference.
No shit.
Yeah. So it was really cool interior design project, because we actually were able to we actually installed I went to the architect and I said, oh, okay, what kind of lights are you going to put in here? And they told me the lights. So I said, all right. So I went out and I bought the lights and I stuck and installed them in my bathroom in the shop. And so we literally were printing color matching. And everybody'd run into the bathroom and look at the color in the light source until we nailed it.
Wow.
It was pretty, yeah. So we nailed that wood grain. It was perfect. You can't even tell the difference.
Talk about R&D, man.
Right?
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah,
I don't know how many people would actually go that far, you know what I mean? To actually be like, there's some people out there just be like, you know what? We can print this, this, and this. Just pick one. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what sets you apart.
Right. And, we do a lot of that kind of stuff, man. And that's why a lot of casinos and a lot of, corporate companies will come to us because we think outside the box like that. Yeah. We've done stuff like we installed the world's largest margarita on the Las Vegas Strip years ago.
Wow.
And, we were chosen because of our out of the box thinking. We've done the Cabelco excavators. We did a big Cabelco excavator that was an American themed just behemoth, and it went to ground zero and dug up the pedestrian tunnels for the first time since 9/11.
Wow. Talk about, everything coming full circle too. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, that was a teary-eyed moment for me because, I'm a veteran and here I am, and I've got this monster excavator that we wrapped in an American flag theme, and we got pictures and video of it going down Manhattan Boulevard, just draped in the wrap, and it's got flags hanging off of it. And it was just like, it was one of those moments where I had to sit down and go, man, this is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Both sides of your world. Cause you were in that side as now, you doing the wraps coming together and to have such a massive, unbelievable project that must have been overwhelming.
Oh man, it was huge. And then, to boot, right as that's happening, we're gearing up for this next Con Expo, and the same equipment manufacturers coming to us saying, hey, now we want to do a military tribute wrap. And you're the perfect guy for it. So we did this, and it was pretty cool because I didn't really fully understand the gravity of what I was getting into when we started working on the design. Mm-hmm. So conceptually, they came to us and said, we have this giant excavator and we want to do a theme. And we want it to be all services, all branches. And I said, okay. And they wanted to keep the base yellow and they wanted to do this. And they had a few little things they needed us to work around, and which wasn't a problem. It was like, okay, we could do that. So I came up with a concept, and me and one of our designers, we really just went through this design and came up with this cool, like, digital camo that was like a yellow digital camo. And Cabelco actually had said to us, they said, hey, if you design something that will sell, we'll donate to, any, military organization that you feel it should go to, and we'll let you choose. Wow. So it was like, oh, wow, I get to, okay. So I'm thinking Wounded Warriors, we'll do a Wounded Warriors thing. Yeah. So, and they're like, we'll donate like, 20 grand if this sells. I'm like, all right. These units are multi-million-dollar units. So not 20 grand is
not
nothing.
Anybody's buying these things. Like,
right. So I'm thinking, all right, I'll get one sale out of this thing. Right. So we do the wrap, and I'm like, all right, what else could I do to really like amp this up? I'm like, let's turn the bucket into a donation bucket. So I printed $100 bills, and I wrapped the inside of this bucket with $100 bills. Right. Wow. And then we put like this clear plexiglass topper on that we were able to find a way to lock it in place so it couldn't be tampered with. Yeah. We slid a hole in it, and then I built the little donate here out of like coroplast and made a little sign and mounted it to it. So it gets to Con Expo, and they not only sell one, but they sell 10 of these units.
Get out.
So, yeah. And they raised $23,000 in the bucket.
On top of that.
On top. And I walk by the bucket and I look at the bucket and I look inside and I see $100 bills.
Come on
top. Yeah. So like wrapping it was that psychological thing. And man, it was such a cool thing. So, we single-handedly were able to raise like, I think once they realized what the demand was for this unit, they scaled it. They were like, we're going to donate like 100 and they capped it. They were like, we're going to give like 130 grand for your design to Wounded Warriors. And it was like, dude, that's really cool. So, in effect, coming from the military, doing a lot of patriotic stuff. And, I've done a lot of stuff with the military since I've gotten out. I was the chairman of the U.S. Army Advisory Board here in Vegas. So, that was one of the things that I really donated a lot of time to. And to know that I was able to create something that really gave back to the veterans was just an amazing feeling.
That's just like, I don't even have words for that. That's amazing. Like I think that's got to be the biggest humbling thing like anybody can do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To create something and be able to have somebody give back to someone else that is in need, whether it be anything, out there, that they've got plenty of places you can donate to for different causes, and to have that all come full circle for you, man. Oh,
it was crazy. I mean, I remember one time me and one of my guys, we just looked at each other. One of my guys was a veteran, and we just looked at each other, and it was funny. It was like, we just had this, I mean, you're talking, 6'1", 230-pound dudes, teary-eyed in our shop, like looking at each other going, wow, did we just do that? It was like, that is freaking, it was just such an intense rush just to see that we were able to just put together a concept that not only, just worked, it blew everybody's mind. And so now those are the customers that we have for life. And we work with Cabelco as, they're like one of our big supporters, and they come to us all the time. Hey, what are we working on? What are we going to do next? Now we got to outshine every single time, which that gets tiresome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, what can I do this time that's going to outperform? Like, I mean, now it's kind of like the Kevin syndrome. How does Kevin outperform himself?
Right. Now the people that bought those other 9, did you have to wrap those in the same concept, or they just bought them?
Yep. Yeah, we went out to headquarters in Houston and, did it. And we had a couple really good rappers. In fact, we had some pretty good guys out there. Kevin Till was one of our guys from UK that came out and worked. Russell Boyd actually came and did some work on it. So yeah, it was really cool little project.
That's cool. And to have a couple other crew members come down and help out, that's gotta be, that's the ultimate thing, Yeah.
Yeah. It's cool when you see that kind of impact of what you can create and how people in the industry just comes together. And, it's just amazing, like it's not just me, it's a team of people, you know what I mean, that came in and was able to do this. My designers really kicked ass, the installers I had out there, like I'm sitting here thinking it's going to take, over a week to do. And these, I got these 2 guys banging out this thing in a record time. I'm like, wait a minute, like you guys are installing 10,000 square feet. And it's like nothing.
Right. Man, it networking, bro. It's just, to have friends in the industry, different states, whether you can call them in and just build build your own military. You know what I mean? Of the rap industry to come in, the elite of the elite to come in and help and just get things done. There's no better feeling than that, man.
Yeah, man. And we truly do, man. Like everybody out in the rap world, they're family, rap family. I mean, we are a rap army, you know what I mean? Like when I get into jams and I need help, I know I have phone and I can call and get a dozen people that would be willing to help. I mean, it's so funny because like anybody that, knows how that struggle is. It's like sometimes you get those last minute jobs and you're like, oh shit, how the hell am I going to get this done? And it's just a matter of, calling in the gang and saying, hey, I need some help. Who can help? And there's always people that, a lot of project specific stuff. It's just like, man, yeah, like I know Vegas we get tons of work out here and we get tons of crazy projects. So anytime a crazy project comes up, it's like, I know I've got resources.
Right. Yeah. Always great
And
to
it's,
have resources.
yeah, that's so, yeah, Moby can't do it all alone.
No, he can't, man. He can't, but he's got the gear for it, man. I'll tell you. Who was that? Geek Wraps? Geek
Geek
Wraps
Wraps, man.
hooked
Yeah,
him
Geek Wraps
up.
real. Yeah, they set him up with the sickest freaking toolkit ever, man. Like I was telling him, and this was actually one of those. This happened like RapsCon 2017 type thing. We were all hanging out, and Moby was a puppy. No, that's 2018. Was it? No, 2017. Yeah, it was 17. We were all hanging out, and Moby was just a pup at the time, and he had his little thing, and I was like, man, I wish I had a vest for him that had some tools. And so, like, every time I'd see Ken, he'd be like, I'm working on something for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, oh, that's cool. And then this year at SEMA, like, he hits me up and he's like, I got a present for you. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Right on. And he comes and they got this box. And I'm like, and I'm literally in the rap competition for Hexus at the Hexus booth.
Wow.
With me and Frank Oliver just sitting there. All of a sudden I turn around and Ken's sitting there and he's holding this box. So I like stand up and stop the competition. I'm like, all right, hang on a second. I turn around and I open up this box and there it is, this badass freaking tool belt. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I had no idea that he was working on this. And he's like, I've been working on this for you for a couple years, dude. I'm like,
wow.
This is awesome. It had everything. It had all the squeegees. It had tools and picks and knives and everything. And it's all in his mags. So like they just mag right up to him. And so you just pull it all off. And yeah, so it's an awesome vest, man. It really is. And Moby loves it.
Dude, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That somebody could take, a concept, you know what I mean, and create something for a need. You know what I mean? It might be a one-off, but dude, it's so essential for you to have that. You know what I mean?
Dude, and it's funny because like, Moby is a service dog. He's a real service dog. And 99% of the time he gets to be a dog, but that 1% of the time when I need his ass, he's there for me. You know what I mean? And like dragging my one-legged ass across the show floor, you know what I mean? And that leg is hard to swing sometimes. So I just grab onto him and he just drags me along. One year at SEMA, I think it was this SEMA, I parked way, way, way far away. And I'm like sore and I'm like, all right, man, you got to work, bro. So I grab onto him and I just start booking it. And I'm wearing shorts. And this guy behind me is trying to pace with me. And he yells, I got two good legs and I still can't keep up with you. Like it ain't me, man. It's a 160-pound dog dragging me.
Oh man, dude, that's crazy that, that he could, I saw pictures. I was looking through your Instagram and I was looking at pictures just a few years back and how tiny he was, dude.
Dude, he grew like a crazy leaps and bounds. Like he was like a pound, like 3/4 of a pound a day for the first 6 months. It was crazy, dude. I weigh him every week and it was like 5 more pounds. One day I think he grew and fell out of the chair in my shop. Like, I was like, whoa, you were just fit. Like, what happened?
That's crazy. Probably scared himself. Like, what the hell's going on
legs
with
were
me?
Sitting on the floor. Yeah, legs are sitting on the floor and his head's trying to lay on the couch.
Yeah. Like, that's awesome. That's unreal. So you got Moby how many years ago now? 2?
it was funny. I was at an HP graphics summit in Alpharetta, Georgia, checking out some new printers because we were looking at getting a couple HPs. And I had a day to kill. And so I'm like, all right. And every dog I'd ever seen, had been of stature, they're not in Vegas. So
right.
I got to look out. So every time I end up somewhere, if I'm in 3M, St. Paul, Minnesota, I was looking for a dog, or, back east, I was looking for a dog. So I just happened to just get on the internet one day in Atlanta and did a quick search. And this lady had basically she bred his line and she's had his line for 30 years. And, it was just fate, man. Like I sent her an email. I was like, I'm looking for a blue male. And she goes, I got one blue male left. I'm like, okay. Where are you at? This is where I'm at. She goes, I'm 15 minutes from you. I'm like, what?
Come on.
So yeah. So me and my wife, we go over there and Actually, I hung out with one of my Army buddies I had seen so in a while, and me and him, we went and hung out and went over and look at Moby, and Moby just comes out. He's all leg, and he just flopping his big old ears around. I'm like, that's it. He's the one. And he was family right from the get go.
Wow, dude.
Yeah. Now
That's
he goes
amazing.
everywhere.
Yeah,
he goes to
does.
work. He goes to work. He flies with me. He goes everywhere, man. He's been to 3M's training class. He's been to Muto's facility several times. He's been everywhere.
Yeah, he's definitely part of the Wrap family. I think every time you go out, everyone's always taking pictures with them and everything. He's definitely the life of the party a little bit.
Oh yeah, dude. That Wraps VIP party, man. They were all his peeps, man. Like he just was walking around saying hi to everybody and doing his thing. And every once in a while he'd come check for me and be like, "Are you all right? All right. I'm going to go say hi to some peeps. I'll be back."
That's amazing, man. Now what were you doing prior to having Moby? Did you have another service dog prior, or?
No, so I had a dog and I trained him to be a service dog, but he was really small. He was a lab. I mean, he was a big lab. He was a 100-pound lab. So,
yeah.
But it still wasn't big enough. And, I started doing research and I was like, is there such a thing as a mobility dog that, like how big I'm like, and Great Danes are huge. They're like the largest breed. So
right.
I'm like, all right, I started doing some research and I started finding that mobility dogs, Great Danes are used as that. So I was like, all right. So I went on a hiking trip with my lab and he was with me. He was good, but he just couldn't pull me. He couldn't, support me.
Yeah.
And now with Moby, if, I fall over and he's standing next to me, I can literally fall on top of him and he's just pushed me right back up.
Wow.
So yeah, so he's good, man. He works miracles, man. Like really is. And he's not just good for, half the time I say he's my service dog, but he's everybody else's emotional support animal. If I show up to a party without him, I'm like, everyone gives me shit about it. And I'm like, all right, you need your emotional support. Hang on, let me get him for you.
He's definitely not a lap dog, but hey, he definitely, sheds light to people's day when they see him.
Yeah, man, he's awesome. He's truly like I'm blessed to have a dog like that for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I know a while back, prior to WrapsCon, and I think it might have been around the day that this tragic thing happened to you that you had posted out, and I know you don't talk about it often, and if you don't mind, if you can, let us in a little bit on, how everything kind of happened and how it's changed your life.
I tell everybody I waited to get out of the Army to get shot. I should have just stayed in. Benefits would have been a hell of a lot better.
Wow.
So I was a victim of a violent crime and was shot 15 times. Wow. Ended up, getting hit in the femoral artery twice. So I'm kind of a medical marvel, I guess. I shouldn't be here by any stretch of the means, but for some reason, I'm here. Universe has other plans for me. So yeah.
So some of the best doctors in Vegas must have been.
Dude, the story is pretty intense. So I was shot by my father. He was a alcoholic, drunk, and ambushed me in my house one night. So when it happened, I was like, whoa, this can't be happening. Like, dude, what the heck? So, I was in shock, obviously. And at the time, it was pretty crazy because here I am and I'm just going to get a little graphic, but I'm laying in a puddle of my own blood. And it's just like I lost 3 liters of blood. So if you can imagine that, just laying in this puddle. And my wife is literally kneeling on top of me and she's plugging holes and she's on the phone with 911. And normally what would be like a 25-minute drive to the hospital is done in 12 minutes.
Wow.
So from the time the ambulance got to me was 12 minutes. And from me going to the hospital, 12 minutes. And it was crazy because the whole time I'm prepared to die at this point. I've kind of given up. This is how I'm going because I can feel just that life. But I'm, I have a voice in my head telling me that you're going to be okay. It's so, this isn't how you go. Don't worry about it. This is kind of part of your deal. You're going to be okay. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to be okay. And as I'm in the ambulance ride, I'm hearing the medics that are there, and they're just like, I can't believe he's still with us. Like, they're even amazed. And I'm hearing them, and I'm like, hey guys, I'm still here.
Wow. And conscious, like, you're just
yeah.
like having a conversation.
Yeah, I hear the guy go, he's below 30, keep him talking. I'm like, well, that's probably my blood pressure. I'm probably getting ready to flatline. So, like, I'm like, oh gosh. And I get into the hospital, and at the time I don't realize who the doctors are, but they're geared up, they're gowned, and it's like something out of a movie, like I'm being wheeled in, and I'm like looking around, and it's the lights, and everybody's capped and gowned, and they're like, it's going to be okay. We're going to take care of you. And so during this process, they put me in a induced coma for a week. And when I come out of the coma, when they bring me back, I'm looking around, and I'm like, it's all military doctors.
Wow.
All of them. It's all, apparently there's no trauma on the military base here at Nellis Air Force Base.
Mm-hmm.
So all of those trauma doctors that are used to being in Iraq and Afghanistan and, working on, severe IED trauma and weapons trauma and stuff like that, they're all sitting there at UMC, which doesn't happen all the time. Right. So it's a whole team of them. And I'm just like, and I wake up and I'm like, whoa. Like, I'm like, and I'm right in military bearing, which was really strange because I'm like, yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am. I'm like, right. I'm looking at a full bird colonel and a major and a lieutenant and a captain. And I'm just like, holy crap. And I hear my wife go, yeah, he was prior service. And they're like, yeah, we know. And I'm like, what? Like, this is just crazy. So, I'm in the hospital for 2 months, and, they ended up having to take my leg. And the major comes in, and he sits down. He's like, man, I just, I'm glad I met you. He's like, but I just want you to know, like, how crazy it is that you're still here. He's like, you are literally a modern medical miracle. He's like, there's no way you should be here right now. Wow. I was like, what? And he's like, whatever it is that you have, you're here for a purpose, bro. And he says, I was here the night that you came in. The whole team was. And we'd seen this kind of trauma before, from Iraq, Afghanistan. We've seen this, we've seen it all the time.
Right.
He says, nobody walks away from what you did. Nobody gets hit in the femoral artery and lives to tell the tale. Nobody gets shot 15 times and lives. Like, what happened to you is tragic, but and this is coming from a medical professional and a military guy at the same time. So
right.
I'm just sitting there looking at him. He's like, dude, you're awesome. He's like, you're here. You survived. Like, none of us thought you would make it through the night. And when you fought, we fought. And, they kicked all the civilians off the staff. Like, it was strictly a military medical operation. Like,
yeah.
It was, and it's crazy because of my military background. And here I am. And he's like, and then when you woke up, and you started talking to us, it was just like you were one of ours. And we wanted just to keep you part of us. And I was just like, well, I'm glad you guys were here. He says, well, something was looking out for you because we were all here. The timing, how you got to us, like, just, it could have been an hour later and none of us would have been here. Right. And, so that's my story. It's
wow.
kind of where it is. I know it seems tragic and stuff, and it happened. And you know what? I'm glad it was me and not like another family member, because I don't think my brothers or sisters or mom or anybody could have survived that kind of attack. And the fact that I did, and I'm still here to talk about it, I'm good with that. I lost a leg, but I'm okay. I'm okay with that,
That's, man, whew. I'm like, my hands are getting clammy. You know what I mean? I'm like,
I'm making you nervous.
You're making me super nervous, man. I need to like fan myself out, man. I just like wanted to take that all in. It's just amazing that, you know, you have the best of the best that have seen it all, and
Yeah.
knowing the circumstances and having them just fall into place like it was just like not supposed to happen, but it happened. These people are probably still in service, seeing these same things and saying, "You remember that one guy, Shane? You know what I mean? Remember that guy?"
Well, it's funny because I still every once in a while I talk to one of those doctors, and yeah, they tell me the same thing.
That's incredible, man. It definitely, you have a bigger purpose in life, and it probably has something to do. I mean, I don't know, you know, the circumstances as far as like, you know, your choice of being in the military. Was it more just like, hey, I don't know what I want to do in my life, I just want to serve type of thing?
It kind of was, yeah. You know, I mean, I've always been a white knight kind of guy. You know, like, you know, stick up for the weak, and you know, if I noticed somebody couldn't defend themselves, I was going to be the guy, and I'd never start the fight, but I would be the one that would always finish it.
Yeah.
You know, like,
yeah.
So, and that's the way I was taught. I was just taught to be the guy that, you know, was, you know, and honored, you know, integrity and pride and all that stuff that come into effect, and, you know, courage and stuff. You know, it's just, you have loyalty and your duty and to God and country and whatever. It was all part of it. But really, it's just, you know, having that, I guess, that propensity to serve is part of it. You know, I mean, definitely wanted to help others for sure.
Yeah. Not a lot. For me, I wouldn't be able to go out there and, you know, be in war or be around that certain stuff. I don't even know. I have so many friends that have served and have done great things, and, you know, have done so much. And I'm just like, man, you know, what's it like? What did you go through? And a lot of them, you know, served more on like fixing helicopters, fixing the planes, you know, just dropping off materials, and others have been full blown right on the lines, gunfire, just like it's just insane. And they come back, and you can see it in them. You know what I mean? They're different. They look at things differently, and it's, you know, it's a shame that's, you know, not only are they sacrificing that, but if you come back, the sacrifice you have to make of coming back to being a regular civilian, just, yeah, it's just,
you know, there's there's a lot of that. You know, a lot of people that come back and they have a hard time getting back into it. And, you know, my story is kind of, you know, it's all over the place, but, you know, I've seen the good, and I've definitely had the worst thing impossible that can happen to a person happen. And so, like, I've seen that spectrum. I'm full of life, and I've been close to death, you know? So for me, it all boils down to, you know, we still, even all my situation and everything that happened, you know, I still look at life like a blessing. You know, I mean, it could have been taken away in a freaking minute, like gone. And we're here, and I'm here. And I'll tell you what, that thin velvet line that probably separates life and death isn't very thin. You know, we're all here now, but we could be all gone tomorrow.
Yeah.
And you just got to be happy, and you got to make the best out of it. And, you know, there are people out there that are depressed for them to come home. And, you know, I've talked to people and friends that said, hey, look, man. And it's like, you don't know what I've been through. And I'm like, dude, you don't know what I've been through. Like, let me tell you my story. Like, if you think you got it bad, come on, man. Like, I'm still here and I'm good.
Yeah.
But you just gotta drive on. You gotta be happy, and you gotta know that it's, you know, we're just a small cog in a wheel, man. We're all just here to be happy.
Yeah. Right.
Why live this life miserably when you can just be happy?
Yeah. Yeah, like I said earlier, it just takes more out of you to be negative and to be that person than to just be yourself and be happy. You get way more out of that. I mean, you get, what do they say? That honey phrase. You could feed the bees more honey than vinegar type of thing.
You can catch more flies with honey than you can with vinegar.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
That's life statement in its boldest. And, you know, this rap game and the rap world is really it's provided for me and my family. It's given me a creative outlet, and like, one thing that's cool about our industry is we can all say we don't get bored. We're not sitting in a cubicle,
Right.
regurgitating the same thing, so everybody in our industry, is blessed because we get to really embody that creativity, and we can do cool, unique things. And, if somebody can sit on a color change for 5 days, you know what I mean? Like, that's some tenacity right there.
Yeah.
If I never saw another color change, I'd be happy. Like,
Right.
but like, being creative, it helps break up that monotony. It helps, it's like, all right, I got this cool project. How am I going to be thinking outside the box? What am I going to bring into it? And, that's a life skill, man. That's something that I've got to bring in. I've got to bring my A game just because, of who I am. And I know that, you know what? If I'm an unhappy person, I can't be as creative as if I'm a happy person being creative.
Right. And I love, and I keep bringing this up, but like, I just love that our industry is just full of different avenues as far as being a wholesale printer or being just an installer, having the brick and mortar, being a contract, whatever the case may be. Travel the world. I mean, it can just take you anywhere in this industry. Can take you anywhere. It's just unbelievable.
Yes.
I love hearing stories of people being able to fly out of their area to Hawaii or, out of the country. Like, how many, who can do that? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I love that. I love that about our industry, and that's actually one thing that I'm looking forward to do. Probably, this year is to do some out of country stuff, just to explore around. I love traveling. I've been all over the place. I've been to China, and I've been to Germany and Europe, and Philippines and Thailand, all over the place. And traveling is just when you get to experience that other culture and you get to see what those other people are doing. That's like when you are fully immersive in what you really love to do. And our world is so, we're like a little small gang, but we're, I know that I can go to Hawaii right now and I've got a place I can go. I know I can go to Japan and I got someone I can go see. I go to the Netherlands and I can see someone over there. It's like, there's people everywhere that we are all affiliated with. And, it's sometimes picking up that phone or sending that message saying, hey man, I'm coming to see you and see your shop. It's like, you feel happy about that because that's something that not everybody can do.
It's like having an old cousin.
Yeah, right.
Hey, I'm coming to see you. Oh, I haven't seen you in many years. Yes, come by. Yes. All right.
Right.
That's awesome. And you appreciate it more too. I mean, seeing Thailand and stuff like that's gotta be just an unbelievable area. You've got to feel pretty blessed in the scenario you're in compared to a lot of people in Thailand and what they have to deal with. And
oh man, yeah, dude, like we are spoiled as hell when it comes to our life, and you compare it to what other people have to go through, and it humbles you really fast when you're in a third world country and you see how other people live, and it's scary because 90% of the population isn't here.
Mm-hmm. Right.
We've got a small portion of it and we're blessed to be where we're at, but sometimes people got to open their eyes and realize they have to travel and look at outside that box that we live in, because there's so much more. There's so much more in this world than, what we all see every day. It's just like, it really idolized people that are able to travel around and see that, because you see the bigger picture of life. You see that there's other countries that, not only do they do things a little differently and you can learn from that, but man, there's situations where, man, you're like, how are you installing a wrap in Brazil? You can't even get Airy Grass film,
Yes.
Yeah. Like these guys are installing, they're using 651 calendar material and installing wraps like butter. And we're like, I can barely do that with freaking grape film, and you guys are doing it with calendar film. Like, how is that even possible? But they're doing
it. They've created their own brand, which is phenomenal. Yep. Dude. It's funny when I watch the videos of like the Alltac group and what they can accomplish, and they make it look so easy, and I'm like, how are you doing that with no egress, dude? Like,
right.
You adapt, I guess.
Yeah.
You find a way.
I had one of our employees was from Chile, and he was like, yeah, we had to install with that stuff. And I was just like, wow, dude, that's some intense situations. Like, he's like, yeah, you guys get it easy.
Yeah. We're complaining about Oracle being a little bit too tacky, or KPMF. Oh, it's super aggressive. Yeah. Try installing this and then tell me which one's easier, you know?
Right.
I'll install KPMF and Oracle all day long. You know? Damn. I mean, Frank Fellas should probably maybe think about getting Alltac just for fucking shits and giggles. You know what I mean? Yep. I mean, they have some great colors and stuff. So, yeah. I mean, let's see what we can do with Alltac, you know?
It's all about diversifying and figuring out what's going to work and what's not, you know, and our world it's small, you know, It's super small. I just got my Yellow Tools squeegee Christmas card from Yellow Tools today. But these guys are sending it from Germany, you know, it's like, this is awesome.
Wow.
You know, like, it's a small world that we live in, you know, but we're all reaching out to each other in a way.
It's just amazing how, you know, there's so many. And, you know, like you said earlier, you know, we only get to see each other at these events, you know, a couple times a year. And it's usually all through social. But, you know, it's just crazy how, you know, you have a supplier that big watching what you're doing and just mailing you, you know, even if it's just a Christmas card or a holiday card, it's just like, oh, they're thinking about me. That's a great feling. You know what I mean?
It is. It really is. You know, and you know, like when you I mean, I literally opened up the package about 10 minutes before you called, and I was like, this is awesome. I hung it up on my mantle. I got a squeegee with a little Santa hat.
Oh, you got the little squeegee. Yeah, I seen Dan Nava's hiding his everywhere every day and taking a photo of it.
Yep. That's pretty awesome. Funny, dude. But yeah, man, our industry is, you know, like, you know, reaching out and talking to people and, you know, is cool because we're all, you know, like anytime I'm in another city or state, I always try to make it an effort to go see other shops and other people in the industry because, you know, that's the way it should be. You know, we're not competitors. We're all part of the big fat rat family. Even like local installers here in town, you know, it's like, it's really strange. Like there's some that I'm really cool with and some that think I'm like competition. I'm like, it doesn't have to be that way. You know, I'm going to get to work progressively anyway, you know, but still it's like we should all work together, you know, instead of, you know, it's just strange. It's strange.
It happens. You've always, you know, in any industry, you're always going to have people that don't want to give out anything or, you know, have a conversation with you because they're afraid, oh, you might steal the client or this.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you're in Vegas. You know how much work's here? Like, give me a break.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like up here in Boston, dude. Everyone's fighting for every piece of the pie. It's literally everyone's jamming each other's throats trying to get the best price on something. But
yeah, industry, it's funny how we, you know, we as a collective, as a group of people really do like, we've created such a powerful thing. Like, you know, it was funny during Wraps VIP. I was like, man, you know, if something happened to this group of people, like if that boat sank, like nobody go get their wrap done for the next 3 years because it's going to be shit. Like, everybody,
we got to start all over.
Yeah, the entire the market has plummeted and every good rapper is gone.
Oh.
So. I'm like, man.
just thinking about that, like, just imagine if something like that was to happen, and just every great rapper just
it's just gone. Like, you're like, wait a minute, what happened?
It's like, yeah. It's like, well, what happened to, you know, so and so? Oh man, traumatic.
Boat sank.
Boat went down with like 500 other rappers. We don't know where the fuck we're getting our raps from. We're screwed. We're screwed. You know what I mean? That's, it's crazy. But at the same time, it's like, it's just amazing what we've fed this monster. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Like you go to these events and you see it's like everybody in this room has contributed to something that we have done, whether it's, so-and-so installing, and getting the King of Wraps or, hey, making a Guinness Book of World Record or doing something. Like, we've all contributed one way or another, somehow, little and small and big. And it's great for our entire industry because without all of this stuff that's happening, we wouldn't be where we're at.
Agreed. Now I'm going to ask you, where do you think the industry's going to go? That's always like a loaded question.
So, I mean, I think our industry is really going to be encompassing finishes, custom finishes, because we are a finishing type thing. We're surfaces, so, being able to, for me, we're expanding on doing all this other stuff because we see a niche, we all know that we can't wrap everything. Right. And, I hate that answer, but I see this industry broadening to more finishes and more custom things that we can do, incorporating different elements into our business so we can all really become that wrap all or be able to do any surface, whether it's powder coating and, all that other stuff that combines. But, being able for our industry to really, really move forward, we have to be creative on all the things that we can do. And I think, surfaces, our surface industry is going to be all encompassing. We're all going to start looking, you see some wrap guys that are doing tint and, different films and, like films and,
PPF.
That's PPF. Yeah. I mean, we're all trying to broaden our horizons to encompass other things because, we are in the aftermarket auto, but we are now in interior architectural design. We are now in construction, I mean, there's so many avenues for us to go. We're actually considering getting a contracting license for wall coverings because that's right up our alley with wall wraps. I mean, the only difference between wall covering and wall wrap is the word wrap,
Right.
So,
I mean, I know it's a little bit of a process up here in Massachusetts to get a construction license. You've got to go through a course, and then you have to take the test for Massachusetts. It's a similar process there in Las Vegas.
Yeah, we have a board of contractors and you have to, get your contractor's license by passing a test and stuff like that. But, that's where I think our industry inevitably will go because right now we have no ruling body over what we do. And, like ASC certified body shops are a thing. And, I think as a, all of the certifications combined are going to be something that this industry needs because whether you're PDAA master certified or 3M certified or Avery or, Oracle or any of the brands, like I think eventually we have to all really be a collective and have a governing thing to help our quality. You know what I mean? Like that's really where you can get rid of the people that really are providing bad quality work and because they don't have a standard,
Right.
we've as a industry have created such a high standard as it speaks of,
Right.
but there's still a lot of people out there that are putting out subpar work. And I think that our industry, as it becomes more professional, you'll start seeing more professional organizations pop up.
Yeah, I love that. And, talking about the training and everything and having those certifications, eventually those people are going to get phased out because everyone's going to start asking, what type of certifications do you have? Are you accredited? Where can I find your certificate? Things of that nature, because
it's happening.
It's happening. Yes. That was the next thing right out of my mouth. I've seen it. I've had people ask already, does your shop have some type of certification or someone in the shop that's installing it that has a certification? And it's, yep, they do. Here it is.
Yep.
It's up to date, blah, 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 blah. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh,
I mean,
okay.
let's face it, you wouldn't go to a doctor if you didn't have a degree. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Right.
I mean, you could go to Dr. Dre, but I wouldn't assume that you're going to get very far. But I mean, we're eventually as a whole, I think that our industry is going to be really pursuing those, professionalism that keeps us and separates the big installers or the, not necessarily the bigger installers, just the more educated ones,
Right.
because, without getting that training, how are you supposed to really know how to make a product that has, a lesser chance of failure,
Right. Right. It's crazy.
So,
It's definitely going to happen. And I think it's something now that we've been talking about the last year. God, I mean, this time last year, I mean, I'm not certified in anything. I was self-taught. I've learned everything from trial and error. I learned what not to do numerous times and didn't do that again. And, things for 2019, I've got written down that I want to at least get one certification for 2019 to have that. And, looking back and my first few episodes, like, I was always the type of person like, you know what? I taught myself, learned what not to do, prideful in that. But I see the tides turning now. It's just to this certification. It's crazy.
Yeah. And you know what? I was really resistant for a long time until we had a real good avenue because, when I first got into this 12 years ago, Frank Fellers had, and, everybody was like, oh, Fellers certified. That's horrible or whatever. But really, man, Fellers had a top-notch facility, man. Their facility was awesome.
Right.
Their training, it was a week-long training course, and they had every single material. You got certified on 3M, Avery Oracle, and, Clear Focus, and it was just an amazing thing. And then that kind of went by the wayside, and then we all ended up in this limbo,
Yeah.
And then Lloyd tried to pick up the pace after that, and then, now we got 3M really pushing hard, and that's really a great course. I've been out to St. Paul several times for certifications, and they have a beautiful facility, state of the art. So I highly recommend that anybody that's in in this profession, if you want to advance and keep going, that, you take a look at getting some of these certifications. We're actually holding a certification in Vegas at my shop.
Really?
Yeah, we're doing, we're teaming up. SGIA is doing the PDAA master certification at my shop in late February. So it'll be a great opportunity for some people to become master certified.
Wow.
We're also doing a color management the same week. So someone can come in if you're running printers and you want to really learn how to color manage and nail colors and profile your printers and learn the scientifics behind it. That's the class that's happening at my shop.
That's crazy because it's one of those things again that would set your shop, to a higher level, to a higher standard than the guy down the street, knowing these few things. Because when I opened up my shop, it was like, okay, I'm gonna buy a printer, use their profiles because 3M provides them for you. It's like,
you're right.
It's like, okay, as long as I get it close, I know what my Pantone would be. There's never any education on that end I ever thought back then.
Yeah, it's so, there's so much that goes into it, and it really is like scientific. And when you think about like we talk about color in a 3-dimensional color space, and if you're able to pinpoint this spot in space for a color, and Coca-Cola red is somewhere in that spot. If you want to hit that spot, you better know how to get your Delta E's right and get your printer calibrated so that you can hit that spot in that 3-dimensional color space. So it's really a science behind it. I'm learning every day, and you along with the printer, you got to have the equipment.
Right.
Photospectrometers are huge. You don't have a X-Rite I1 or a Barberi, a photospectrometer, you're accomplishing half of the color that you should be. Plus, you're not saving the money on the ink. A lot of people don't realize this, but if they're not profiled right, they're throwing 30% of their ink costs away. Like if you're profiled right, you can save 30 to 40% just in ink.
Shit.
And that's a huge difference.
That's a very big difference, especially if you're running liters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. When you're spending that much on ink per liter, and if you can save 30% of that ink cost, learn how to profile your printer. Learn how to save that money, and you'll be a better person, better business, and you'll be able to offer a higher quality service because you know that if someone comes to you and says they need to hit a color, you know that you can hit it.
Now, does that have anything to do with the way that you set up your files in your design program?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, there are different profiles that are in Photoshop, that are in Illustrator, that output. You have RGB file, you have
Right.
you have Gecko, which is a profile, so you're outputting to, and then you have your RIP software, which is another. You have other things. So people will print something in Photoshop, save it as a TIFF file, print it in Flexi or whatever program they have,
Right.
and then they take that same file and try to print it again, and they can't hit the color because they've done something wrong, or they outputted it the wrong way, or that they don't realize it. But it's usually just something, a setting, or maybe they saved it as a bitmap and the rendering intent was different when it processed. So there are people that scratch their brains going, I can't figure out what I did wrong. And sometimes it's just a matter of, it was one thing that got set wrong and you just didn't know that setting.
Man, I racked my brain like a month ago where it was a color, and I forget what the problem was. I think I had to create a cut file, so I had to like flip flop it from Illustrator to Photoshop, and then Photoshop back to Illustrator to create the cut file.
Yep.
And dude, the color just fucking like it was like a it was like a teal color, and I'm like, cool. It's a nice like foamy, like ocean greenish, like teal color. I put it in Photoshop. It didn't look right then, and I went to go bring it back to make my cut file for some reason because I had to do something, whether it was either an effect or something. I brought it back, and it was like darker, and I'm like, what the fuck? What changed from one end to another end? And they're both the same. Yep. I have them profiled the same way. The RGB 1998, blah, 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 because that's what I was always told. You get the best colors with the RGB 1998. Don't change them, bro. Like, you can hit everything underneath the sun with that. Yeah, bullshit until you have this nonsense happening to you. How do you fix that,
Yeah, and to do that, I've had that same thing happen to me. And that's actually, I ended up at this color management class that Muto and the color casters guys threw on 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Because I was running into problems, and I was like, I got to go to this again. So I went and did this refresher, and it was really cool because, you really do see how just some of the things that you can to, and 10 years ago, and even, 5 years ago, it's changed.
Right.
Like I had an i1 Pro that I got in 2011 that I've used to profile printers. And now that's kind of an outdated technology because, technology changes all the time. You wouldn't have the same phone from 2010. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You probably got a brand new phone with new technology in it. So our technology has to change, in our industry, and people have to learn that, the calibration side of things is always going to be a change. And until you start learning that curve and how to get those best colors and how to make sure you're hitting that same color every single time, and then you don't have something save and you go to print and it prints out differently than what you see, and then you can't figure out what you did. A lot of it can be taught, and a lot of it can be, you can fix a lot of it with some just, maybe you need a new photo spectrometer, or maybe you need to get a profile that's just right, because, our printers are all mechanical printers, you know what I mean?
Right.
So they get out of whack. So what profile you've been printing with for the last 5 years could be, it's probably changed a little bit,
Now I'm going to ask, as far as like, if you have a fleet and you're running a fleet, you know, you get a couple cars back the next following year, you've already, you know, the printer's already been calibrated so many times, or you get a new printer. How do you go through the process of, you know, now you've gotten this newer printer, I'm sure you're going to be running a lot of the new stuff out of that. You know, trying to get that same color that you hit with the fleet that you did a year ago with this new printer, it's just going to trial and error?
Well, if you have a photo spectrometer and you have like a way to calibrate your printer, you can get those because you can calibrate. If you were printing on a profiled printer when you did it and you had your profile still set, you can actually run tests and, you know, test swatches on the other printer until you can calibrate to that exact same thing. So you can calibrate your printers really close to each other. If you can get within that really close, you know, delta E, you can calibrate those printers. You know, I actually, you know, a lot of it's checks and balances too. So, you know, in my shop, we have a system of, you know, you have all your production files in your production file, and those are going to the production guy, and his job is to set those files up and send them to print, right? So one of his jobs is to, you know, he screenshots every profile. He screenshots it, he saves it in the production folder.
Wow.
So that we know when, you know, that customer comes back, we look in the production folder from his previous job, we can pull the screenshot of what his production settings were. So we knew that he printed in this profile or this or this. And, you know, you can look at all those things because we saved them. We'll even save what printer it was on just in case we have a slight difference in printers.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like, you know, my printers are all named after the Ghostbusters. So it'll say,
dude,
hey,
that is so
Egon.
funny.
Yeah. So like it'll say Egon printed this and it'll have the profile that we printed it on. And, you know, we save everything. So we even, you know, we'll put lot numbers so we know what lot number it was. So if we ever have it, you know, there's a lot of us, you know, we're in the business of self-warranty, but there's a lot of things that we all can do as a collective to help better ourselves. And really, if there is ever an issue with a material, we can eliminate it really fast to either say, hey, look, this is what I printed. This is what happened. This is how it failed. This is my profile I used. And this is the lot number. And that's all saved every single time that we do a job.
Right.
And that way we know, you know, we can go to a manufacturer and give them all that information. And it's like, oh, they have their shit together.
It just fathoms me like that, you know, you have all these set profiles for all the medias out there and whatnot. And you could still save 30% of your print cost. It's like, I'm still thinking about that. I'm just thinking, okay, I'm going to bring this up tomorrow at work because it's something that I think we overlook because it's like, okay, they provide us like I'm more in the sales side, but like I know the print, the design, the installation side, but I just choose to do the sales because I just can't wear all the hats anymore. You know what I mean? But just thinking about like how they go about doing it, it's like it's almost robotic. Everything gets done in Illustrator. Everything gets outputted, you know, 1/10 scale, gets bumped up in your RIP software, and it gets Avery, put the Avery fucking thing on, and then print it. Done. And whatever we get is whatever we get. And if we have to change the color because the client thinks the blue is not blue enough, then we make test samples. But once that's it. Like, that's what you get.
And, you know, a lot of us do use profiles like that. And some of us we create a generic profile and we try to use it for certain types of media. It's like, oh, this is going to go for all casts and stuff. But in theory, we should all have a different, because each media is going to receive ink at a different rate.
Right.
So we should, and our printers, even though those printers are calibrated and, you know, we do pull profiles from them, sometimes those printers they'll just print a little bit different. Right. It's an individual device. You know what I mean? They're not all they're made identical, but they sometimes could you might have a little bit more voltage going to your piezo head. You know what I mean? There could be something a little bit minutely different in your machine that's causing it to just print a little bit off. You'll never know unless you actually test your printer and see how it's calibrated.
Yeah.
And see how those ink limits are set. And so, yeah, I mean, it's really an important part of the process.
It's a lot of trial and error.
Yeah, a lot.
Man, to where you have your printer now, how long do you think of a process? Let's just go back from when you started doing your own calibrations and figuring it all out. What do you think the time frame was? And from a scale from 1 to 10, on 10 being the most difficult, where do you think you would gauge that?
Well, I mean, it's difficult to learn. It's a difficult process to learn because, you're never going to know. Like when I first bought all my gear, my settings, and my X-Rite system and stuff, like I still didn't know what the hell I was doing. Like I didn't realize that all my ink limits should be below this, because a lot of people don't realize that another thing is we all have these warranties that we have. 3M, Avery, Arlon, every manufacturer has a set limit. You'll see this number pop up and it'll say like anything over 260% of ink coverage,
right?
Could void your warranty.
Yep, I've seen it.
Well, you've seen that, yeah. So that's basically your ink limits on your printer. So each channel of those printers is pushing out a C, M, Y, and K. And if your ink limits aren't set, and if you're running 80% ink limits, you've voided your warranty and you don't even know it.
Right.
Because you've already exceeded the recommended. So you want to get that number down as low as you can go and pull your ink limits down as far as you can go without sacrificing color,
right.
So
right.
in doing that, you're saving ink costs by pulling it down. But it's difficult, to learn that, because when I first started, I didn't know what I was doing. I've had to go to a couple classes just to figure out, my software and I got, Flexi certified. I've gotten, Muto Smart certified. I've been, certified with color calibrations and, SGI color management. So like, yeah, it's a lot. It's a process. You got to educate yourself.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what's your background as far as like your day in and day out at the shop? Like, are you more the salesperson or like?
Yeah, I kind of I do sales and marketing and managing, the staff. My wife, she runs the backside of the business, and she runs, the HR stuff and the payroll, and she does sales and estimates as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, between me and training new guys and training people and working with designers, and, I can actually design as well. So I do designs regularly for customers as well. So, I'm kind of like, I'm a master of all, and I kind of just run my shop and help out where I can. I was actually with one of my guys out the other day, and we had to go on a job site and we installed the wall wrap. And, he's not certified. He hasn't been to any certification courses or anything, but, and he's been in the industry for 3 years. And it's funny because even someone that's been in the industry for 3-4 years, they just, those one little certification course is so helpful. Like, one little tip, one little trick that I was able to turn his little, a wall wrap into something that was super simple for him. And he was like struggling with something. It's like, yeah, this is how I would do this. And this is something you would learn in training. And, so I do a lot of the training stuff at my shop too.
Nice. So as far as like the stuff that you do, you wear all the hats. What do you like doing the most?
I'm a people person, man. I like to, I sell myself, and sell the business. And, I'm really good with client relations and sales, kissing babies, shaking hands kind of thing,
I love that. Yeah.
So, apparently I've got a pretty positive attitude and people like me. So
dude, I'm telling you, from the first time I met you, I got that vibe. You tell me where to sign up. You know what I mean? It might not be a baby. You can kiss me though. I might not be a baby.
I'll let Moby kiss you, man.
Oh, yeah.
He handles that.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I love, same here, man. I love talking to people on the phone, educating, getting people up to speed to, the technology. Cause I still feel like there's so many people out there that don't know what the fuck a wrap is. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like you see this every day and they might not know what the term is, what what they're using for it or how it's done, or they might even think might be paint still, but it still brings a smile to my face when you can tell them, yes, we can do this and do that. And they're like, what? Really? Okay. Let's sign me up, Yeah.
I like to really think that I'm an expert in the field, and I know all the medias. I've experienced with every type of media. So, I mean, and we do so many off the wall projects. I mean, I wrap everything from flat walls, concrete, stucco, you name it. We've done something. So I've had to immerse myself in everything here. And, Vegas has kind of been like a great training ground. So now I feel like I can go anywhere in the world and have a solution for someone.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's just city that never sleeps. I mean, like this, it's almost like New York. It's like the mecca of advertising. Like you just see billboards and signs and wraps and buses and just all day, every day. And it's just, it's such a great area to have this type of, marketing business. To help out and to grow. Shit. Up here in Boston, man, they still haven't caught on yet. It's just driving me nuts. I just don't know why, like, a lot of our transit systems still have not caught on to advertising space. They're still stuck on fucking printing these coroplast signs and sliding them in these little tiny frames. It's like, come on, like, wrap the things.
Yeah, that's a little backwards, buddy.
They're still stuck in those times, and I just trying to break that mold a little bit up here is very, very difficult, man. I just we've had numerous you want to
borrow the truck, bro? You want to borrow the truck?
Please. Yeah. that thing will be a gas guzzle all the way up here. Holy shit.
Yeah. So we're thinking of, doing, one of the things that another reason why I got into my RV business is because, at first it was, we were going to wrap one of these RVs and we were going to do like a cross country road tour, and, hit up, do like some brand recognition and some, wrap recognition kind of, industry. So, that's actually still a game plan that there have been some discussions of wrapping one of our RVs and doing a cross country road trip. And, there's a couple, tool manufacturers that are, really considering doing a couple things and jumping on board and doing like some, cross country tour where we hit up different shops and, different areas and different places and team up with different shops and do different jobs and projects. And it's going to be a pretty cool thing. So, keeping your eye out for that. That's going to be a happening thing.
Ooh, can't wait for that. Are you going to have every shop sign on the RV? That'd be cool.
Yeah, man. Do like a little wall, the fame. The
yeah.
Wall of fame.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah. We've thought about doing this, and we actually, I got in the RV business shortly ago. It was, last February, and we already have a small fleet. And, it's been, I was like, initially I bought a 40-foot RV so we could do this cross country road tour. And then I was like, hey, man, this is a business. So we got like 8 of them now.
Wow.
So yeah, so now it's, but yeah, I still want to take one of our units and pull it out and do a cool cross country road show with it.
That's unreal. So not only now are you in the wrap industry, but you also have this other completely different venture that you're in and probably still learning. You know what I mean? You're a year old into it.
Yeah.
How is that panned out for you so far?
It's awesome, man. Like, I never realized that RV rental business would be such a great a great business, but it's amazing. Like, Vegas, I guess I'm kind of blessed because Vegas is a great market, not just for advertising, but everybody wants to come here. So internationally, people want to come to Vegas. So we noticed last year we were getting international people flying into Vegas. They party it up for a couple days and then they get in an RV and then they do like a tour. They'd go to Grand Canyon, they'd go to Southern Utah, go to California, wherever. And, they were it was a constant thing. And so we rent these RVs out and, people, when hotels are $300 a night, you can get an RV and do a tour and go where you need to go. It's just as awesome.
Right. You're mobile. You get a car and you get a hotel all in one.
Yep.
Win-win. Win-win. Yeah. That's freaking awesome. And I got to tell you the name of the RV company, dude. Fucking genius.
RV Pirate Rentals.
Dude, genius.
I figured I would wrap my leg in wood, throw a dead chicken on my shoulder, and walk around with an eye patch going, RV Pirates.
Oh my God. When I looked at it underneath I think it was your Facebook, it tells you the about and the businesses you own. And I'm reading it. I'm like, RV Pirate. And I'm like, thinking RV. I said it, and it's so stupid. I said it to myself like 3 times in my mind, and I'm like, "Damn, that's clever." I'm like, I'm wondering if he does that. That is
RV Pirates,
dude. Like, come on, it's fucking marketing. It's taking one thing and turning it into a positive. You know what I mean?
Oh,
it's It's what you have to do, and it's just it's all positive. It's all great things, and when I saw it, I was just like, "Damn, that's awesome!" And not too many people could pull that off.
Yeah, no, it was pretty funny. We've got the theme here. Like some of our sports teams, like the Running Rebels for UNLV, and now we have Raiders.
Yeah,
the Raiders stadium coming. And so, we wanted to kind of I was like, what could we do? And it was just funny. I was just like, I'm going to call myself a pirate. And we're going to name all the RVs after, I'm going to have one called the One-Eyed Willie and the Captain awesome. Jack Black. And we were coming up with some stuff. And I don't know, it just kind of flowed together. But yeah, so we actually own Raider RV rentals. We own, RV Pirate Rentals. We own a couple different domains, so it's going to be pretty cool to see how that transitions over the next few years.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's the name of the game. It's foreseeing what could possibly happen and what could be coming and capitalizing on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
People do it all the time, and it's just snatching up. Dude, I know people who make money just on snatching up URLs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've had a couple drunken moments back in the day where I bought dumb domains. I thought we were going to be worth millions. I'm like, someone's going to buy mugshotexpresso.com.
I love it, dude. That's fucking awesome. Mugshot Expressos. Hey, you never know. You never know.
I still own it. It's for sale if somebody wants it.
Selfish plug.
I might have let it go, actually, I think.
Oh, yeah. Those $14 a year renewals, man. By the time you ended up selling it, you got your $14 for 5 years back. And
yeah. I bought I have 60 different domains for everything for wraps too, man. I own nightclub and bar wraps.com. I own offroadwraps.com.
Wow. So anybody out there looking for these ones, which asshole bought them all.
I have a few of them. Sorry.
They're all linked. They're all linked to you. They're like, damn, why do you scoop them all up?
Yeah, I did that on a bunch of them.
Yeah, a nice Friday over a cup of wine. I'm just gonna scoop
what's funny is when I first started doing this back in 2005, I bought a shitload of domains that I never thought I would ever see. Or I was like, who's gonna want this? You know? And now I look at it and I see those people with that brand, and I'm like, I owned your domain before it was your brand.
I let that go. I still own that. I'm
like, Rapaholics was my idea.
Oh shit. Oh man, if we could foresee that side of things, man, we can make a few $1,000s on a couple names. Damn.
Right.
Wrapping color changes for, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, sell a couple of domains on the side, it'd be all set.
Right? I mean, hell, 40 hours of work versus just buying domains sitting on my ass.
Hell yeah. All day.
I don't know. I might want to sit. Oh, that's funny.
Oh man, dude, Shane, this has been like insane talking to you, brother. You've been such a plethora of knowledge, and your story and your background is just super inspiring, man. Like I've said, you've been such a great guy, and meeting you at RapsCon was just a blessing, man. It's just so nice to actually be able to sit down and talk. I know, running around during the shows, a lot of people don't get that, 5-10 minutes to just catch up, and then, okay, see you tonight or see you later. And this was nice to sit down and talk to you for a little bit and get to know you a little bit as well.
Yeah, dude, I appreciate it, man. And I'm looking forward to, seeing you again, dude. And, thanks for everything you've been doing, and, all the podcasts you've been doing. I mean, it's awesome, bro.
Oh, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. You'll definitely see me next year. RapsCon again, and definitely SEMA. Definitely.
You're going to have to we might have to get you in on this roadshow tour, huh?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
The podcast.
Do it right out of the RV.
Yeah, RV Pirates.
See? We might have to do a little collabo here. That'd be freaking awesome. I'm all over that. You just tell me when and where.
There we go, dude.
I like to ask, dude, is there anything that we didn't talk about during our conversation that you might want to bring up that's, good info that we didn't talk about? I mean, dude, I know we talked about a lot.
Quite a bit of stuff, man.
Yeah, I think we did. For sure.
I don't think so, man. I think we covered quite a bit of ground, man. But,
for sure.
Yeah, I do want to tell people, though, that, if anybody is interested in doing that PDA master certification, come down, man. At the end of February, we've got this awesome class, the color management class. Get 2 certifications at once, man. Learn how to run your printers and learn how to freaking wrap a car and get certified to do it, man.
Win-win, dude. Love it. I just want to ask you one more question, and I like to end the podcast on this type of note. Who inspires you or is a big influencer in your life right now, whether it be rap related or not rap related? I like to keep this one a little open.
You know what, man? I have to say, family, man. Family inspires me, bro.
Yeah.
For me, I'm inspired by, my family that keeps me going. My kids keep me pushing. Even a rap family, considered everything that, has happened. I really look at everybody and, people that I'm close to and friends and colleagues as all around inspiration for everything, man. So, it's not just one particular, I'd have to say it's a combined effort, man.
Yeah. I love that. Awesome. Family first, man.
That's right, man.
That's the way it's got to be. Family first. Work
except
second.
For Cousin Eddie. Because Cousin Eddie's an asshole.
Oh, do you have a Cousin Eddie?
No, but I'm going to actually put a Cousin Eddie on one of the RVs.
Oh, yes. That's awesome. Is he Cousin Eddie's going to be an asshole? Is he going to have no toilet or something?
Yeah, it's the shitter is full, man.
The shitter. Can't seem to, they get that goddamn toilet fixed, but, that's the cards you're dealt with,
You're right.
He's half price this week. Fucking take him. You know what I mean? There's shitters everywhere. You don't got to shit in the RV. Come on.
Right?
Oh my God, what a cool business, bro. You could totally take this thing cross country. No pun intended.
We've got some pretty big plans, man. I think I'm going to try to grow my fleet, double my fleet this year. And,
wow.
really like move into doing all sorts of stuff on the RV, selling, consigning, co-signing. So if somebody has an RV, they want to sell it, they can put it in my rental fleet. I'll rent it for them, make them money until I sell it.
Wow.
So yeah, we're going to really pull off a couple things with that business, and I'm looking forward to that. And I love my wrap business, and that keeps me kind of in that mode too. So I'm looking for big things. We're going to add some new equipment. We're looking at a flatbed router and a flatbed printer.
Wow.
We're really going to push some envelopes.
Good for you, man. I honestly can't wait to see what you come up with for next year and all the new stuff that you're going to come out with next year. And, I just love watching all your social media posts and what you got going on, because it's a great inspiration. Again, looking at everybody's work on there, it's just nice to see that people pushing the envelopes, doing new things, and, and then setting a bar and having someone else set another goal, another bar. It's just, we all try to one up each other, not competition wise, but just friendly.
It keeps us frosty, man.
Yeah.
It keeps us frosty. That's what it is. You gotta, if you're not part of this growing thing, you're not able to, you gotta do it for yourself. You know what I mean? You gotta be in it for yourself, not just to make everybody else happy. But yeah, you gotta grow this business and grow the industry together.
Right. Love it. Love it. Shane, been absolute pleasure talking to you, brother. I want to be so respectful of your time, because I know family first, like we just talked about.
No problem, man.
Let everybody know where they could find you on social media to follow your journey and see what's going on with Gecko Wraps.
Just go to Gecko Wraps, look me up. Gecko Wraps, and our Gecko Wraps media is where we're at. So
nice. Perfect. Shane, dude, happy holidays, brother. And
yeah, dude, happy holidays to you. Merry Christmas, happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever else you guys else. Like.
Yeah, whatever everyone else is celebrating nowadays. Yeah. I love that. Oh my God. Yeah, you got it. It's so political correct now. It's just everybody's we gotta say holidays now.
I hope this doesn't offend you. I hope whatever I said earlier may or may not have offended you.
Fuck, dude. Do you know where I'm from? I'm from Boston, bro. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, you guys had a fucking tea party out there, I heard.
Yeah, we did. Many, many moons ago. But,
right on, brother.
It's all good. Dude, I wish you well for the rest of 2018, brother. And, man, I can't wait till next year.
Awesome, man. Well, I look forward to it, too. And I'll be in touch with you on this roadshow tour I'm going to plan.
For sure. All right, brother. You have a great night.
All right, man. Talk to you soon.
What's up, everybody? Hope you enjoyed this episode of the All Wrapped Up podcast. Hit that rank button and review. And to stay up to date with future podcasts, hit that subscribe button. Till next time, folks, that's a wrap.